Episode 8, Question Masters, Thinking and Asking Naturally, Think in English. Hello and welcome back to the Smart Listening Lab. I'm Amy and I'm so excited to be here for Episode 8 of our series on how to think in English. By now, you've started to break the translation habit, built your vocabulary, honed your grammar intuition, and even began sounding more like a native speaker through shadowing. If you haven't listened to our previous episodes, be sure to check them out. The links are in the description. I have a special surprise for you in this episode. As a bonus, we'll have a guided English speaking practice session at the end of the video. You'll get to put what you've learned into practice in real time. Today we're tackling a skill that is absolutely essential for real conversation. Asking questions. Have you ever felt like you're only able to give simple answers in English? Do you struggle to keep a conversation going by asking a follow-up questions? This is a very common challenge. We often focus so much on forming our own perfect sentences that we forget that conversation is a two-way street. Being able to ask questions naturally is what truly makes you a participant, not just a speaker. The power of the question, more than just words. Asking a question isn't just about getting information. It's about showing curiosity, building rapport, and inviting the other person to share. In your native language, you do this effortlessly. You might use different tones or even different words to express the same question depending on the situation. For example, the phrase "what's up" can mean "hello, how are you?" or "what's wrong?" depending on the context and tone. Our goal today is to train your brain to think in question patterns, not just statement patterns. This is a vital step toward improving English fluency and making your English conversation skills feel natural and effortless. John's story. From quiet to conversationalist. I want to share the story of one of my former students, John, from France. John was a brilliant programmer and could write perfect English code and emails. But in a team meeting, he was always quiet. He told me he felt like he was always a step behind the conversation, trying to process what was said and then struggling to form a response. He could answer direct questions, but he couldn't initiate or keep the conversation going. He felt his lack of conversational skills was holding back his career. We started working on these very exercises. Every day during his commute, he played the mental reporter game. He'd look out the window and ask himself questions like, "Why is that bus so full? Is it because of the time of day? Where is it going?" He started with simple questions and then moved on to more complex ones. Soon, he started applying the opposite question technique in his head during meetings. When a colleague said, "The new software is ready," John would mentally ask, "When was it ready? Is it the new software?" Within a few weeks, he had trained his brain to look for opportunities to ask questions. In his next meeting, instead of staying silent, he was able to ask, "Did you test the new features yet?" And, "What's the next step?" He was no longer just a listener, he was an active participant. 3 exercises to become a question master. Ready to get started? Here are 3 practical exercises you can use to train your brain to ask questions instinctively. The mental reporter game. As you go about your day, mentally act like a reporter and ask questions about your surroundings. For example, if you see a person walking a dog, you can ask yourself, "What kind of dog is that? Where are they going? Is that a new collar?" If you're at a coffee shop, you could ask, "What kind of coffee is that person drinking? Is the barista new here? What time does the shop close? This exercise forces you to think in a question-based framework, which is excellent English speaking practice. The opposite question. Technique. This is a simple but powerful trick. When you hear a statement, mentally turn it into a question. For example, if you hear a friend say, "I'm going to the gym," you can mentally ask, "Are you going to the gym?" Or, "When are you going to the gym?" If a colleague says, "The project is finished," you can ask, "Is the project finished?" Or, "Who finished the project?" This trains your brain to recognize the core of a statement and transform it into a question, preparing you for real-time conversation. The conversation expansion drill. This is a more advanced exercise to build your English conversation skills. Think of a simple answer to a question, and then practice expanding on it by adding a follow-up question. For example, instead of just answering, "Yes, I like pizza," you can practice thinking, "Yes, I love pizza." What's your favorite kind? Or, "Yes, I like pizza. Have you tried that new place downtown?" This trains your brain to not only answer a question, but to immediately follow up, keeping the conversation flowing. Tips and tricks for mastering questions. Mastering questions is a bit of an art form, so here are a few extra tips and tricks to help you along the way. Trick number 1. Focus on the who, what, where, when, why, how, 5 W's, and 1 H. These are the building blocks of almost every question. If you're ever stuck in a conversation, just mentally pick one of these words and try to form a question around the topic. For example, if someone mentions they're on vacation, you can ask, "Where are you staying?" Or, "What are you doing there?" This gives you a simple, reliable tool to keep the conversation moving. Trick number 2. Listen for keywords. When someone is talking, listen for the keywords in their sentence. For example, if your friend says, "I just got a new job at a tech company," the keywords are new job and tech company. This is your cue to ask a follow-up question like, "What will you be doing at the new job?" Or, "What is the name of the tech company?" Trick number 3. Pay attention to intonation. In English, a simple statement can be turned into a question just by changing your tone. For example, "You're going," with a rising intonation at the end of the sentence is a question. "You're going," with a falling intonation, is a statement. Practice this in your head. Say a simple sentence like, "He's here." Now, try to say it with a rising tone to turn it into a question. This will help you sound more natural and confident when you speak. English speaking practice. All right. Are you ready to put this into practice? We're going to do a quick speaking drill together. I'm going to read a short text with a few statements. Your job is to mentally or quietly turn each statement into a question, just like we practiced with the opposite question technique. Don't worry about speaking out loud if you're in a public place. The goal is to train your mind to think in questions. Speak slowly. My team is working on a new project. And we just finished the first phase. Our boss gave us a lot of positive feedback. The next meeting is scheduled for Friday. I'm really excited about the final result. Now let's try it again. This time I'll read each statement And then I'll quickly say one possible question you could have formed. Listen to the way my voice rises at the end of the question. My team is working on a new project. Are you working on a new project? And we just finished the first phase. What did you just finish? Our boss gave us a lot of positive feedback. Did your boss like it? The next meeting is scheduled for Friday. When is the next meeting? I'm really excited about the final result. Are you excited about it? You're doing a great job. The goal is to make this process a natural reflex. By practicing this, you're building the mental pathways to become a true question master. Your weekly challenge. Think with a question mark. Your challenge for this week is to integrate these exercises into your daily routine. For 10 minutes a day, practice the mental reporter game or the opposite question technique. Don't worry about speaking out loud. The goal is to train your mind to think in questions. By actively looking for opportunities to ask questions, you'll feel much more prepared and confident in real conversations. This is a powerful step towards true English fluency. By seeing the world through a questioning lens, you're not just learning the language, you're learning how to connect with people. Thank you so much for joining me today. Your commitment to this journey is inspiring. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to the Smart Listening Lab and leave a review. It helps us reach more people who are ready to make this shift. See you next time, and as always, keep thinking in English.
Thanks for tuning in. Keep practicing, and for more English lessons, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.